We are in partnership, as I said, with a number of entities to make this happen. We work with the higher education institutions of our synod. The seminaries especially, close partners of ours right now. Reverend Dr. Mark Thompson is a professor at Concordia Seminary in St. Louis, and he is the one who's working on a project with us to rewrite some materials that they'll be using for training up future church workers and put together a handbook that will be useful for pastors and teachers especially, but also to pass on to parents to use in the home. He's writing it in such a way that parents can have it as kind of a manual on how do we do this thing. People keep saying, how do I approach this thing with family discipleship? So he's going to be writing that tool that would be very useful. I'm putting together materials. I have this book that I wrote when I was earning my Doctor of Ministry, and in here I have some simple principles about how to live faith in your home and pass it on to your children, especially in marriage, but then passing it from your marriage to your children. And so this book is a resource that we have at Concordia Center for the family as well, and this will be forming the foundation of my message I'll have in our preaching a little bit later this morning as well. So that's a resource. I have another one I've got called Life in God's Way. It's a whole series on how we apply the teachings of God's Word to all aspects of life, in the home, as we're in the world, when you're teaching children how to go into the dating phase, when you're growing into your retirement years. Is there such a thing really when you retire from serving Christ? You may stop working your job that you've been working at, but do you ever retire from serving the Lord? No. There is no such thing. And so helping us to realize, what can I keep doing to make disciples of Jesus as I'm in those later years of life? There is a very important place. And a lot of our churches in the Lutheran Church of Missouri Synod are smaller churches with older membership. And a lot of them say, what do we need to do with family ministry? We're not involved in family ministry. Oh, yes, you are. Absolutely. You have children and grandchildren, and there are other children around in your neighborhood and in your church who you can influence in a very powerful way to see the love of Christ in action and to know his love in your own life as well. So that's what we want all members of our churches to see their important place for that. A big part of what we do is also work with training pastors how to better teach the faith to their congregation. And we have a new level of training that we're going to do through what we call facilitators. Here in Missouri, they've had coaches that were trained. We're shifting over to the term facilitator as a term that just shows really what they're doing. They're going to facilitate taking the gifts that God has given us and putting them into practice in your church and then into your home. Facilitators then will be especially spread throughout synod and districts where they can come alongside local pastors and church leaders and give them resources they may not have for themselves and to help them see what other resources are out there. So you'll maybe be hearing about that soon as we are training up these new facilitators through our synod. We're starting in the next year with 7 to 10 districts that will be our primary partners. Right now we have Missouri District, Michigan District, the Mid-South District, SCLC District. Those are all on, in the Nebraska District. They have fully committed and are on board with us in raising up facilitators. And I've got another 6 districts that are right on the edge of wanting to get involved. We're just working with them. So we're limiting it to about 10 districts we're going to focus on this year just because I don't have the capacity to manage more than that right now. But as it expands, our goal in the next 5 years is to impact the whole synod. That we'll have all 35 districts coming alongside where the district presidents will come on board and they will have facilitators who will then help us to reach out to the world. I specifically spoke to the Council of Presidents of our synod just a couple of weeks back in St. Louis when they were meeting together, and they were very supportive. They're very encouraging for us to continue to do what we're doing at Concordia Center for the Family, to reach out in this way. They say this is exactly what our synod needs. All the pastors are talking about it, and the local homes are talking about how do we face the onslaughts of a broken world? How do we keep our children from wandering from the faith? The best way is to be preemptive by giving them Christ before they get sucked into the lies of the world. So they're ready to address those lies with truth and know the truth. The truth will set you free. And that's what our objective is, to get that truth that will keep our children free from the lies of Satan in this world. And we are working then along with our schools. We've got a lot of excellent schools in our Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, day schools, preschools, to give them resources to carry that faith into the home as well.